Here we go. We're recording. It is episode 136 of the Daily Puck Drop. Hashtag DPD here on this wonderful rainy Tuesday. By the way, rain gods, we need it to stop. We need it to stop or we're not going to have Little League tonight, and it's the playoffs. And if we don't play tonight, we get delayed. Fisher Plumbing could be a deep, deep doo-doo if we don't play tonight. We've got a bunch of fifth graders who are scheduled to go on a sleepaway camp trip tomorrow till Friday, and then we'll miss our makeup game, and then the season could be over for Fisher Plumbing. So if you've got a rooting interest for Fisher Plumbing, maybe you got some money on Fisher Plumbing in the Ballard Little League playoffs, we will hope that there is no more rain today. The rain needs to stop immediately. All right, episode did I say 132? What episode is it? I lose track. I have lost track of how many episodes that we have done. It's 136. Yeah, I'm right. Yeah, episode 136. By the way, we did a late edition last night, episode 135. Want to go check it out. Stacey Lewis, LPGA golfer. I recorded it a few weeks ago. Just let's be open and honest here. A few weeks ago, Stacey Lewis playing in the KPMG LPGA Players Championship, which is coming up in the end of June 20th. There, Sahali Country Club. Stacey, she was great. It was a fun interview. If you're a golf fan, love the sport, love a good interview, just to love a good chat, go check out the Stacey Lewis pod because she was fun. She was real fun talking about just growing up playing golf with her dad. Real relatable if you've played the sport, especially with your father. It was really cool to hear her tell the story about how, he helped her love the game, grow the game, and now she's trying to do the same thing for her daughter, kind of pass it down, and the fact that she's just really cool, real fired up about that tournament that's going to be coming up. Sahali is awesome. And it's a great venue for championship golf. We've seen it before, obviously on the ladies' side, but also on the men's side. Was it 98 PGA Championship? Vijay Singh winning that, I believe, if memory serves me correct. But go check it out. Episode 135 podcast, Stacey Lewis. It's up there. Again, the KPMG Women's LPGA Women's PGA Championship coming up later this month. All right, let's just dive right into it. It is a Tuesday as we record this. We'll talk to Brad Adam of Root Sports, also John Canzano of johncanzano.com coming up later. Those episodes will be released at around 1 o'clock today. All right, I mean, the big topic of the day is this whole Pat McAfee, Caitlin Clark, Stephen A. Smith, Monica McNutt. Jesus. My God, I've never seen people lose their minds over a story like this. First of all, like with Stephen A. Smith and Monica McNutt, I've never seen coworkers like that. I mean, I've seen it on that. I mean, that show that they do, it breeds the yelling and the talking over and he said, she said BS. Now, there's a lot of you out there that like that stuff. Clearly, because we're talking about right now. B, they wouldn't keep putting it out there if people didn't tune in to watch. They wouldn't pay him the amount of money they pay him if people weren't into it. And I mean, he's an entertainer. So this is what it's all about, is about entertaining. I thought he crossed the line yesterday, and not so much what he said on his program, those two going back and forth. It's a highly volatile topic. It doesn't need to be a highly volatile topic. I mean, it is pretty. I mean, race does play a part in this. So when I say, hey, it's pretty black and white, I mean, it is black and white. This is what this story is about. I mean, peel it all away. That's the story. That is absolutely 100% the story. But, they got into it on their radio program about the foul from Kennedy against Caitlin Clark. Listen, it's a bad foul. It was rightfully ruled a flagrant foul. There is no place in the game for that. There's just none. There's absolutely no place. She wasn't making a basketball play. You'd say this about anybody. No one is picking on this woman at all. No one is singling her out. Fact is that she went and lowered her shoulder and knocked the girl down. that just simply wasn't a basketball play. There's no place in the sport for it. And where the problem right now with this league and how they're treating her, and I'm going to get to McAfee in a second. He's getting a lot of grief for it. And listen, there's people that love McAfee. They don't love McAfee. I mean, there's things that he says that I think is funny, and then there's other things that he says that I don't agree with. But isn't that like with everything? I mean, you're watching this, you're listening to this. There's things that I say or do that you don't all necessarily agree with. But that's what sports entertainment is, or entertainment in general. If you just completely 100% agreed with what everybody said all the time, that would be boring. I mean, there's plenty of people that I enjoy watching, I enjoy listening, I enjoy reading that I don't agree all the time with. If you agreed with somebody 100% of the time, life would be real boring. But the so the incident between Stephen A. Smith and Monica McNutt, as they were arguing, what is transpired. I mean, there's things that I agree with both and disagree with both. With McNutt just saying, hey, we can't forget the other people that paved the way. No one is forgetting the other people that have come before Caitlin Clark. No one's forgetting that. Sue Bird, herself to a lesser degree, Diana Taurasi, Lauren Jackson. I mean, you can just go on and on of just Cheryl Swoops. I mean, we've talked about this before when we got into the college basketball tournament. One of my favorite games that I've ever watched, ever, basketball related. And see, I love basketball. I love all forms of basketball, all of it. Just I love everything about basketball. I could watch a youth league basketball game. I could watch a middle school, high school, junior college, small college, NBA, NBA G League, NBA Europe. I can watch all of it. I just enjoy the sport a lot. I play old man hoops every Monday, and it's Tuesday, so right now I can't walk. I love the sport. It's my favorite sport, and so I will tune into all of it. And so back in the day, one of the best games I ever saw to this day is in the NCAA championship game. It was Texas Tech and Ohio State, and I've talked about this weeks ago on the show. Was Cheryl Swoops was the best player in America. She was being compared to Baby Jordan and all that kind of stuff. But then Ohio State had a freshman named Katie Smith. I love Katie Smith. She was just an all-around, unbelievable basketball player. Could do it all. Highly skilled, 18 years old, pass, shoot, rebound. She was, because she was white, compared to Larry Bird. Okay, just a similar skill set. And there wasn't so much animosity between those two players back then because they played the sport in two different styles. Cheryl Swoops was high flying, athletic, and all that, all the stereotypes that go with a black player. Okay, all of it. And then Katie Smith had all the stereotypes that go with a white player. But it was a highly entertaining basketball game, and they both showed off their skill set. So I just love entertaining basketball. I don't think I've said that enough, but I do. So now we fast forward to this. There are a lot of people that you should thank that have formed the league. But what I think some of these former players just fail to realize, and I think they do, but this, again, we talked about it yesterday, comes out of a form of jealousy. They are annoyed that it's that player that gets all the attention. That's why they're annoyed, and that's why they're bothered. And the deep-rooted reason behind it, it falls back to race. It really does, between the two. And I think you see a group and a whole league, unfortunately, look at Caitlin Clark and say, well, Caitlin Clark doesn't look like us, and she's getting all the attention when we've been here all the time. And I understand that sentiment. I get it. It's hard because you're wondering, God, we've been here for so many years, busting our asses to make this league viable. And along comes this girl, this Midwest, looks like, the girl next door, and she gets all the attention. Okay, fine. You're jealous. You're envious. You're envious of her off the court endorsement deals. You're envious of all the coverage that she gets. That's not her fault. She's just playing basketball. At the core of Caitlin Clark is a basketball player, just like Monica McNutt, just like Diana Taurasi, just like Sue Bird, just like this Kennedy player, just like Angel Reese. She's a basketball player. She just wants to play hoops. That's all she wants to do. But what this league is doing right now, what some of these players in this league are doing right now, is going around and I'm not going to far as to say is assaulting, but there are fouls on her that are just not basketball fouls. I mean, these are fouls that we can go back in the day, and maybe there's some of you out there. I remember what it was like in the 80s to watch basketball in the mid 80s. I remember Kurt Rambis, coming down on a fast break and getting clotheslined by Kevin McHale. I mean, is there a group of WNBA players that want to go back to that? That they want to see that? I mean, there's probably some old school NBA players going, well, it's kind of what we used to do. The Bill Lambiers, we want that kind of basketball back in the sport. I mean, it's what I watched growing up. And so I would say, looking at, I think at the present, didn't realize how over the line it was. And then I think later, as you kind of see, some of these fouls and what was transpiring, it was over the line. But there are some unnecessary shots at her right now. And that was that by the Kennedy player. That was an unnecessary shot. It had nothing to do with basketball. Again, as I said yesterday, she's driving to the hoop. You want to knock her down hard and send a message to her. You want to hit her hard on a screen. You want to set a hard pick on her. Fine. When she's just trying to sit there and receive the basketball, and you knock her down, and then you bitch and moan about it after the game. I'm not going to take any questions. First of all, no one knows who you are. The only reason anyone knows who you are is because you fouled Caitlin Clark. You made a name for yourself because you fouled her. That's it. No one has any idea who you are. First of all, you've been kind of an idiot teammate of every team you've been on. Go look at her track record of teams that she's been on. She's been basically kicked off teams left and right because she can't get along with anyone. For the Pat McAfee comment where he called her just, a white bitch, again, it was poor language. It's not how we should have described her and opened up the show. But at the core of what, and again, you don't have to agree with everything Pat McAfee says. At the core of what he was trying to say and trying to get at, I agree with. Of what he was trying to get across, he used poor language to probably describe it. He needs to know his audience. He's on TV. He's not on just, some, streaming YouTube platform, even though I don't know, was that on the YouTube platform at the time or was that on ESPN? But he broke it down as that, again, this league, predominantly black players in this league, is seeing someone that's coming into the league who doesn't look like them. And there is a form of jealousy that is now forming because of the attention that she is receiving. And they need to realize, and I think the players in the league need to realize that it's okay. It's okay because attention for all the players is good. But again, she's going to stick out like a sore thumb. And that's, I think the point he was trying to get across was, guys need to I think all the players in the league need to realize her impact in the league. And maybe the players do, but they just don't want to acknowledge it. If I were a player in the WNBA, here's what I'd get annoyed at. Because I always thought about this with Tiger Woods all the time. I would get annoyed at the constant questions surrounding her. Just like I bet the golfers back in the day when Tiger was coming up got annoyed at the constant questions about Tiger Woods. Hey, what did you make of Tiger Woods' performance today? I'd be like, well, I didn't really watch Tiger Woods today. I'm playing my own round. So I think when some of these players get asked about her constantly, especially when she's coming into town, I get it. That side of it, I totally understand. Totally get it. Because if I put myself into their shoes, I'd be like, okay, enough with her. Enough about her. But she is the reason why people are watching. I know Angel Reese came out yesterday and she goes, I want credit too. Where's my credit? I'm here too. People are watching me. They aren't. That's the deal. They are not watching Angel Reese. And I love watching her play. I love the passion she plays with. I love the attitude that she plays with, the hustle she plays with. She busts her ass on both sides of the floor. She's a great passer. She's great on defense. I mean, she's just constant motor all the time. It's what you want a basketball player to be, not taking a playoff. She doesn't take a playoff. But they're not watching because of Angel Reese. They're watching because of Caitlin Clark. Gatorade and Nike and all these sponsors. State Farm flooding, not to the other players in the WNBA, but to this player. There was a tweet over the weekend. Attendance this past weekend with games not involving Clark. These were the numbers: 7,000, 4,000, 9,800. Good attendance mark. 7,000, which those are good marks. Those are decent. 3,000, 10,000, 7,000. Here are the two games with Clark: 17,274, 17,401. The reason people are going to these games, the reason people are watching is because of her. That's the reason. The reason you got the charters, the NBA draft, or the WNBA draft lottery, and the draft itself was through the roof is because of her. I'm not saying you got to bow down to her and kiss her feet and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think she's ever even asked for any of that stuff. But do acknowledge that the reason people are talking about your league, and here's the other thing that's good about it. People are talking about the league. They should be talking about the good things about the league rather than let's just like name calling and now we're picking sides about who you have to like in this league, is that people are discussing it. And that's what any league that has struggled to find people to enjoy it needs. You need people, good or bad, talking about your league. But there's so many different factors here. One, Indiana Fever teammates, terrible, just awful teammates, all of them. Not one of them have had her back. Not one of them. Not one of them has stood up to her or stood up for her. Zero. So that tells you they feel the same way about her. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I hope the league doesn't break her. I mean, maybe they're trying to break her. I mean, you can break her in good ways. And by playing her hard, playing her physical, and talking as much shit to her as you want, because, I mean, that's just sports and that's just basketball. But the extracurricular stuff, the fouling her away from the ball, the fouling her when she doesn't have the ball, unless the league steps in at some point and does something, you're going to get her hurt. And the last thing this league needs, the absolute last thing this struggling league needs, is for that player to be hurt. Because you as a, I don't even know who the commissioner is, whoever the commissioner is, can't get it under control, and somehow she gets injured. You want to know what's going to happen to your ratings? In the toilet. Absolutely in the toilet. Better be careful. Leagues protect their superstars. And she may not be there right now on the court just in terms of her ability, but she is a superstar. And if I was the league, I'd protect her. All right, let's move on to the Mariners. Their ownership talked, or the owner, John Stanton, talked to our good friend Ryan Divish, who we will talk to Divish coming up tomorrow on the pod, and also the good-looking. God, he's just devilishly good-looking. The Adam June. And John Stanton talked to both those guys. It's a great piece. Go read it, seattletimes.com. Go pick up a hard copy if you have some spare change in your pocket, and go read it. John Stanton said the following, and there's a couple of audio clips I want to play. One, Jim Duquette talking about Tommy Pham, and we'll get to the trades and all that kind of stuff. And then one from Ryan Divish last Friday on the pod talking about this organization making a move when it comes to the deadline and owing it to certain players on the team. Stanton telling Jude and Divish, we've got the resources to be able to do things that we need to do to put a good team on the field. Here's Ryan Divish on Friday talking about them making trades, owing it to guys that have been here.
I mean, like Haniger and Dylan Moore lived through the Kendall Graveman trade, and they lived through they were there for that, and and so to me, and also it's not just the players that you've been here for a while; it's the players that you want to keep here for a while. Like, how do you tell Cal Raleigh or Logan Gilbert or George Kirby, hey, we care about winning, we want to extend you because we think you're a part of a nucleus to win a World Series, when you don't do anything when you have the moment? That's the thing, is like this window that they have right now, again, is really good, and they're leading the division, early. And I remember last year they had let it late, but you felt like they didn't give that team enough help last year to reward them for the August, and because all this stuff happened after August, and it was kind of, I think sometimes the mindset was, "F you, we'll do it ourselves. If you're not going to help us, we'll do it ourselves."
And Ryan's 100% right. They need to do whatever they can to improve this baseball team, because they do have the ability, especially with the pitching staff, to make something happen. And hopefully when Stanton says that, and we'll take him for his word, we've got the resources to be able to do things we need to do to put a good team on the field. Okay, well, you didn't have the resources in the offseason. So this is the thing. I mean, it was clear they were cost cutting. That's why they made all the moves they made. It's why they traded Jared Kelnick and Marco. It's why they got rid of or didn't make the qualifying offer to Teoscar. It's why they got rid of Suarez. These were all moves made for financial reasons, okay? That's why. That's why they did it. Because they didn't have the money. Now, apparently, that they do have the money. We'll see. Stanton also went on to say, quote, loss of revenue from Root isn't the reason we've made any decisions over the past couple of years. Well, then what's the reason? You've on one side and later in the article complain about the loss of revenue, about the loss of viewership with the Comcast deal. You owned Root Sports. So again, if people are leaving Root or leaving Comcast, can't watch Root anymore, you're losing subscribers, thus losing revenue. Thus that hurts you. So there is a part, I mean, you kind of are speaking out of both sides right there. He also said, I think we've got a terrific team and we've built it the right way. And the most important thing to me, is it sustainable over time? I want to isolate that, and I want people to react to that right there. I think we've got a terrific team, and we've built it the right way. Do you think they've built it the right way? Would you go as far to say they have a terrific team? I think they have a good team. I'm not willing to. I don't think they have a terrific team. They don't have a terrific team when they are the second lowest scoring offense in baseball. When the only team above them, or the only team they are above, are the White Sox. So that's not a terrific team. They're a good team. And I think you could, over time, what they do at the deadline, could they push to a very good team? Their pitching staff is elite. Absolutely, that is terrific. I think their defense is very good. Is it terrific? I'm not so sure it's terrific, but it's very good. But their pitching is terrific. There is zero debate about their pitching. He also talked about how Root Sports, it looks like they plan to operate independently for the 25 season. Did stop short, as Jude and Divish wrote, of fully committing to that plan. It seems like they will not go over the network like with King 5, like the Kraken did. Sounds like it's just going to be more streaming. So I don't know. It's weird. Who knows what the future of Root Sports is heading into next season? And I feel bad for the people that work there. We'll talk to one of them later today. I feel bad for guys like Brad and Bill Kruger and Angie and Jen and those are the people that you see. I feel bad for all the people that work behind the scenes, kind of left out there in the dark about what the future of their livelihood is as the Mariners decide what to do. That's a side story. I'm not meaning to diminish that, because there's people's careers and lives at stake based on kind of the future of that. But the core of John Stanton saying we've got the resources to do things that we need to do to put a good team on the field. Then show the fan base that you're willing to do it. Because since you have owned this baseball team, and this baseball team has gotten to the trade deadline, you have done nothing to dispel the notion that many people have, including myself, by the way, that you're not all in on winning. That you want to tell people that you're all in on winning. You want people to think that you're all in on winning. But you have yet, at any deadline, have decided, here are our chips. We're in right now to go win a world championship. And this staff right now that you've created and done a wonderful job creating, a lot of credit has to go to DePoto and Hollander for the pitchers they've acquired and they put on this staff. And the coaches that have developed them, the analytics, all that stuff. But now is the time offensively to go out and do something. You're so damn lucky where you're at right now. You're so lucky that you're 7 games over 500 in first place. There's a lot of luck that goes into that, and a lot of skill with this pitching staff and what the starters have done and how the bullpen has performed without having Matt Brash and Santos. But the guys that you acquired in the offseason, they haven't done anything for you. Got a designated hitter that can't hit. You got a right fielder that is breaking down right now. You got a second baseman who's hurt. And again, those were all concerns going into the season that they would not be able to stay healthy. If you fully and truly are committed to winning, you will allow your front office to go out and acquire as many good players as you possibly can, and you tell them, and you've got to be 100% truthful this year, this time. Money is no option. Because if to Hollander and to DePoto, if you've got to take on a contract, so be it. We've got your back. Words mean nothing at this time of year on June 4th. Let's get to the deadline and see what you do. Go read the story, SeattleTimes.com. I do want to play this soundbite yesterday from Jim Duquette talking about a player I would love to see the Mariners acquire, and that would be Tommy Pham.
It's hard to find those guys who
Yeah.
don't care what others think of them. They know what winning baseball is all about, and they kind of push the envelope and push the issue with the team. He was a huge part of Arizona's run last year. They acquired him at the deadline. He had that edge. We saw he had a good postseason too. He contributed a couple wins for them offensively. So he's a great guy for that. And, they need outfield help as well. And, he's not going to mess around either. Like last year, he was with the Mets. I loved what he said. He said, this is the least hardworking good team I've ever been on. Like, he called out the team. You hardly ever see that. I love that.
That's a great quote. Why I like Tommy Pham, he brings attitude. He's a good player, by the way, but he brings attitude to the team. This team could use some attitude. Last year in the postseason with Arizona, leading them to the World Series, 279 batting average in the postseason, 475 slugging. Seems like a good fit to me. What's this team missing? The team's missing some offensive help, and they could use some defensive help there as well. They got some yesterday. They signed Victor Robles. Whatever. Adds defensive help, I guess. He was once a top prospect. In fact, he was the starting center fielder when the Nationals won the World Series. Even, when they were coming up, I think he was at times regarded as a better prospect than Juan Soto. Never materialized there for Victor Robles. Sounds like a lot like Jared Kelenic, by the way. Problem with it is that you poorly constructed this baseball team in the winter, so then you've got to depend on June 4th to go out and get somebody like Victor Robles, who all he's going to really contribute to this team is a plus arm and a plus range in the outfield. But what is he going to contribute offensively? You play him against left-handers in the outfield, the guy can't hit. He's got a 120 batting average. He slugs 120. He's terrible. And has been terrible his entire career offensively. I know he's not here offensively, but at times he's going to have to play. Not going to put him out there defensively all the time. But, it's a nothing burger type of move. The only thing I just kind of shake my head at is that you construct your roster in the offseason and you build the team in the winter, and you fail to really do that properly at times. With offensively speaking, and now you're left signing guys like Victor Robles. All right, the Bet M's under summer tour continues. George Kirby on the mound tonight against Mitch Spence. By the way, fun trivia for you with Mitch Spence. Born in Kirkland, Washington. That's all I've got for you. He's born in Kirkland, moved down to the South, went down to college in South Carolina, but he was born in Kirkland. So how about that? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Game 1 of the 3-game series tonight against Oakland. The total is 7.5. Again, you know us, what we're doing here. DraftKings Sportsbook app. Total again 7.5. Bet the under. Bet the under. The Bet M's under summer tour continues. Our current record 15, 16, and 1 on the season. All right, moving over to college sports. Miles Rice comments. Why? Why were they necessary? I don't get it. If you don't know what Miles Rice said, Miles Rice did an interview with the Indiana Hoosiers, 24/7 Sports, and just said, quote, or I'll paraphrase, for the first time in a long time, I felt really wanted. And, rightfully so, a bunch of Wazoo fans, including myself, took issue with it. And you should take issue with it if you're a fan of the school. I'm sorry if you cover the team and you don't think it's a big deal, but you're not a fan of the team. If you are a fan of the team, then maybe you should get out of covering the team. Fans can react however they want to react to stories like this, okay? However they want to react. They're passionate about their school, especially that fan base, the fan base that I'm a part of, an alumni of that school. And so when you hear someone like Miles Rice say, well, finally feel like I've wanted, who in the fan base or alumni at Washington State didn't make you feel wanted? I mean, I was at Heck Ed. I got a picture with you and my kid. The kids and fans were lining up to greet you after that game, chanting your name nonstop. So I think when you say something like, wow, I just, I finally for the first time feel it really wanted. What that wasn't I feel wanted by the Indiana Hoosier fan base who was just, welcoming you with open arms, because the Wazoo fan base did and stuck by you through thick and thin. Right there with you when you were battling cancer. All of it. Supported you nonstop, left and right, especially when you're going through your struggles on the floor in the last part of the season. When he says, I finally feel wanted, what he's talking about is money. Because the Indiana Hoosiers, paid him a bunch of money to go to school there. And Wazoo just didn't. That's what he's talking about. And that's a problem with college athletics today and the college athlete today. Because in order to show your love and support for them, it's not good enough anymore just to cheer them. It's not good enough to go up to them and tell them, man, awesome work today. Really love watching you play. Like all those kids that I watched at Heck Ed said to him. I just love watching the way you play. It's awesome to just see you go out there and do your thing. That's not good enough anymore for anyone. A compliment's not good enough. You've got to show them money. That's how you show your love and support and make them feel wanted now in college athletics. Is just show them as much money as possible. And that's what Miles Rice was regarding to. And that was what his comment was about. Indiana paid him. And so Miles Rice looks at that and goes, they paid me, so that means they really like me, opposed to the other school that didn't like me. It's just, it's unfortunate. And fans can feel any way they want about Miles Rice moving forward. Okay? Don't tell people how to fan. Seahawks OTA update. Ryan Grubb met with the media yesterday. Nothing earth-shattering. Just said, hey, 50% of the offense is installed. Loves what Geno brings to the table. Loves what Sam Howell brings to the table. Again, I've said this before. This is the most excited I am about this upcoming team, is to see what he can provide to the team this year. I can't wait. Can't wait to see what Ryan Grubb can do with this offense, with all the Walker and Charbonnet and DK and Tyler Lockett and Jason. Can't wait to see it. All right, we'll wrap it up here on the Daily Puck Drop with this. Hey, what the puck? The theft of the car update filed. The wife's Audi was stolen yesterday as we had dropped it off at a Les Schwab. Then it was stolen off the property. It's a bummer. It's a real bummer. No real update. We filed the police report. They're on search for the car, the black Audi, which will never, ever be recovered ever again. And we'll see. We'll see what the results are. But is what it is, right? Cars get stolen all the time. Happens when you live there in a big city. But we got 2 weeks out. If they don't find it in 2 weeks, then you get money from the insurance, and you can go out and buy yourself another new car. The problem was the teenage daughter, who's a year away from driving, really wanted to drive that car, and now she doesn't get to drive it. Hey, Edmonton, the flashing fan. I'll tell you this, Oiler fans, I will be watching you if that fan continues to flash people. That female Edmonton Oilers fan. America is on Edmonton's side. America is rooting for the Edmonton Oilers with that fan base. Last thing quickly. If you grew up, you're 48 like me, you remember this show, American Gladiators? It's coming back. Amazon Prime, and our guy Bezos is bringing it back. American Gladiators is coming to Amazon Prime. I can't wait to watch this again. God, that was a great show. And we need the All-Stars show, where they bring all the athletes together. They did a bunch of like the swimming and the running on the beach and all that kind of stuff on ABC. That was awesome too. But American Gladiators coming back. Amazon Prime soon. I want the outfits, the theme music, all of the same games. coming back there with American Gladiators. All right, that's it. Episode 136 of the Daily Puck Drop in the books here on June 4th on Tuesday. Coming up later today, Brad Adamroot Sports and also John Canzano from johncanzano.com. That will all be released at 1 o'clock today. Pucksports.com, also on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts, also on YouTube as well. Please, 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 please rate, like, subscribe, leave comments, share them with your friends, coworkers, strangers, anyone. Spread the word about pucksports.com. We'll talk to you guys later. As always, we promise to be better.
Shirt, no shoes, no dice.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!